Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about something that controls more people than fear, laziness, or even sadness. Anger. I want to be very honest with you. We all get angry, at people, at problems, at life itself. Sometimes it explodes. Sometimes it hides quietly inside and slowly destroys our peace without even showing on our face. But either way, anger steals our energy, ruins relationships, damages health, and most importantly, blinds the mind. Anger is like drinking poison and expecting someone else to suffer. You say things you didn't mean. You hurt people you care about. You break trust. You destroy focus. And when the anger fades, you're left alone with regret. So the real question is this: can you actually stop getting angry? Can you train your mind to remain calm in any situation? The answer is yes, but only if you understand how anger works and how to replace it with something more powerful: emotional control. This is not just about anger. This is about freedom. When you master your anger, you become someone no one can control, insult, manipulate, or disturb. You become untouchable not by fighting, but by rising above. And in this video, I'll show you exactly how to do that with real psychological tools that actually work. No fluff, no fake motivation, no confusion. If you stay until the end, this may become one of the most important lessons of your life. And as you listen, you'll also improve your English thinking, speaking, and emotional vocabulary naturally. So let's begin. The foundation of emotional control is understanding this truth. Anger is a choice. Most people say, "They made me angry," or "They crossed the line." But no one can make you angry without your permission. Anger is not a virus. It doesn't jump into you. It is a decision you make after a trigger appears. Yes, someone can be rude. Yes, a situation can be unfair. But what happens next, the reaction, that belongs to you. Imagine two people in the same room. Someone walks in and says, "You're useless. You'll never achieve anything." One person explodes, shouts back, feels insulted, and loses control. The other person pauses, smiles slightly, and says, "Interesting opinion. Thanks for sharing." Same insult, different reaction. What changed? The mindset. The first person handed over control of their emotions. The second person kept it. Every time you react in anger, you give someone else power over your emotional state. That's not strength, that's slavery. You are allowed to feel hurt. You are allowed to feel uncomfortable. But you are not required to respond with rage. You are not an animal. You are a human being. You have the ability to pause, think, choose, and rise. Tell yourself this when anger appears: I can feel the heat, but I don't have to become the fire. True emotional strength is not holding anger inside until you explode. It's recognizing that anger is optional, and choosing peace instead. At first, your mind will resist. It will say, "They deserve this. Let it talk. Let the storm pass." Then decide. Because you're not fighting others, you're training yourself. The next skill is learning to pause before reacting. Anger is fast. Peace is slow. The damage of anger doesn't come from feeling it. It comes from acting on it too quickly. Most regrets are born in the first few seconds of reaction. Your first reaction is your lowest self. Your second thought is your wiser self. But most people never wait long enough to hear that second voice. When anger rises, close your mouth. Say nothing. Silence is your armor. If possible, change your location. Step away. Walk outside. This breaks the emotional loop. Count slowly in your mind while focusing on your breath. As your breathing slows, your heart rate drops. The fire begins to fade. Instead of yelling, imagine saying calmly, "That hurt me, but I want to talk about it without anger." That one pause can save relationships, careers, and self-respect. Anger is like a wave, strong, dangerous, but temporary. If you don't fight it, it passes. The pause is your surfboard. Now let's talk about one of the most powerful tools you have: your breath. When anger shows up, your body tightens. Your breathing becomes shallow. Your muscles tense. This is not just emotional, it's physical. Your breath directly controls your nervous system. When you slow your breathing, you send a message to your brain that you are safe. The brain listens. Breathe in deeply through your nose. Hold briefly. Exhale slowly through your mouth. A long exhale is the signal for calm. Do this a few times and your emotional state begins to shift. You're not suppressing anger, you're dissolving it. Make this a daily habit, not just an emergency tool. Calm breathing builds emotional strength over time. The calmer your breath, the quieter your anger. Finally, understand this truth. Most anger is not about the present moment. It's about the past. Unhealed pain, old betrayals, words spoken years ago, expectations that crushed you. Anger is often a buildup, not a reaction. You carry it silently until something small triggers everything at once. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It means freeing your energy. Holding on to anger is like carrying burning coal and blaming others when it hurts. Forgiveness is not about them. It's about you no longer drinking poison. Let go of the story you keep repeating. Let go of the war that already ended. Choose peace over proving a point. When you release the past, the present loses its power to hurt you. Mastering anger is mastering yourself. And when you master yourself, you become free. Say this to yourself. I am no longer carrying this pain. It has lived inside me long enough. It does not belong to my future. Write everything down. The pain, the memories, the names, the moments that still hurt. If it's safe, destroy the paper afterward. Delete the file. Tear it apart. Make it symbolic. You're telling your brain, this is no longer part of who I am. And when anger rises again, remind yourself, I've already let this go. I will not relive what I've already survived. Letting go doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're wise enough to protect your energy. What happened to you was real. But holding on to it forever is not healing, it's self-harm. So stop collecting anger. Stop saving insults. Stop replaying betrayal. Let it go, and you'll notice something change. The world feels lighter. Your heart beats slower. And your anger becomes quieter. Now let's talk about something simple but extremely powerful. Gratitude. Gratitude is one of the quiet killers of anger. You cannot feel deep gratitude and intense anger at the same time. The brain cannot fully hold both emotions. One always wins. The human mind naturally focuses on what's missing, what went wrong, who disrespected you, what feels unfair. And when your mind lives in lack, anger grows easily. But when you shift your focus to what is present, what is working, what is still good, something changes. Your mind stops fighting life and starts accepting it. That's where peace lives. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's wrong to what's right. It interrupts the anger loop with reflection. And it activates calming chemicals in the brain, dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin. This isn't philosophy. It's neuroscience. Make gratitude a daily practice. Write down a few things you're thankful for. People you're lucky to have. Moments that made you smile. Even on hard days, find something. If nothing feels big, be grateful for breath, water, shelter, or one person who checked on you. When anger rises, say this. Yes, this moment is hard, but I still have so much to be grateful for. Gratitude doesn't erase problems. It stops them from stealing your joy. Anger shouts, this isn't enough. Gratitude whispers, this is still a gift. When gratitude becomes a habit, your mind becomes a temple. And anger cannot survive in a temple. Now understand this deeply. Most anger has nothing to do with the present moment. It's old pain. That's why something small can make you explode, and later you wonder why you reacted so strongly. The trigger was small, but the wound was old. Everyone carries pain. Some show it. Some hide it. But no one escapes it. Maybe you were never respected growing up. Maybe someone betrayed your trust. Maybe you failed and never forgave yourself. Maybe you were ignored, compared, insulted, or abandoned. Maybe you always had to prove your worth. You buried it because no one was listening. But pain doesn't disappear. It becomes irritation, mood swings, overthinking, emotional overreactions, and uncontrolled anger. Anger is the surface. Pain is underneath. You're not angry because someone was late. You're angry because you feel disrespected again. It's not about the traffic, the call, or the dinner. It's about years of emotional dust inside your heart. That's why it must be cleaned. This isn't a one-day fix. It's a process. And it starts with honesty. Sit alone. Open a journal or document. Write every painful memory that still holds emotion. The people who hurt you. The words you never said. The anger you hide behind smiles. Don't edit. Don't judge. Just release. Then speak to your inner child. The younger version of you who felt unseen, pressured, hurt, or abandoned. Say this: you didn't deserve that pain. I see you. I love you. And I'm here to protect you. This isn't weakness. It's emotional science. When you comfort your inner child, your adult self becomes calmer and more stable. Forgive where you can, not because they were right, but because you're done carrying what they gave you. If forgiveness feels impossible, choose acceptance. Stop fighting a movie that already ended. Close the screen. Walk out. Create a small healing habit every day. Meditate briefly. Journal honestly. Speak kindly to yourself. Choose peace in small moments. You will never fully master anger until you face the pain beneath it. And when you do, something incredible happens. The things that once triggered you no longer move you, not because you're numb, but because you're healed. Now let's talk about the question your mind asks when something goes wrong. Your brain is a question-answer machine. Whatever question you ask, it will answer. When you ask, "Why does this always happen to me?" your brain searches for proof and finds it. When you ask, "Why is everyone against me?" your brain builds a story and anger grows. This is the hidden anger loop. But when you change the question, you change the emotion. Ask yourself instead, is this worth my peace? Will this matter in the future? What is this trying to teach me? What would my highest self do right now? These questions don't pull you into pain. They push you into power. You can't control everything that happens, but you can control the question you ask. And that question shapes your life. Finally, understand this truth clearly. Most anger exists because boundaries do not. People don't get angry because they're weak. They get angry because they tolerate too much for too long in silence. Anger is often delayed honesty. You didn't speak when you should have, so anger spoke for you, loudly and destructively. A boundary is not aggression. It's clarity. It says, this is okay for me. This is not. People who don't set boundaries live in resentment. People who do live in peace. Speak early, not late. Be calm, not explosive. Be consistent, not confusing. Some people will dislike your boundaries, especially those who benefited from your silence. That's the price of self-respect. But when you protect your space, your energy, and your values, anger loses its home. Because anger feeds on helplessness, and boundaries destroy helplessness. Some people will resist your boundaries. That does not mean your boundary is wrong. It means they were comfortable crossing your limits. Let them be uncomfortable. Your peace is more important than their approval. Imagine someone constantly interrupting you, disrespecting your time, or emotionally draining you. Instead of staying silent and getting angry later, you calmly say, I value my time and energy. If this continues, I will step away. No shouting, no arguing, just clarity. And if the behavior continues, you act on your boundary. You step back. That isn't anger. That's self-respect. When boundaries are clear, anger fades. You stop fighting people in your head. You stop replaying conversations. You stop exploding unexpectedly because you handled things early, clearly, and calmly. That is emotional maturity. Now understand this hard truth. Anger survives in problem-focused minds. Peace lives in solution-focused minds. Most people repeat the same pattern. Something goes wrong. They complain. They blame. They replay the story again and again. And each time they do, anger grows stronger. The mind starts believing there is no way forward. And when the mind feels stuck, anger appears. Anger is the mind's response to powerlessness. The moment your brain sees a solution, anger begins to dissolve. So the real question is not, why did this happen? The real question is, what do I do now? A problem-focused mindset says, this is unfair. They ruined everything. Why does this always happen to me? That creates stress, anger, and exhaustion. A solution-focused mindset asks, What's my next move? What can I control here? What's the smartest response? That creates calm, clarity, and strength. The moment anger appears, stop the story in your head. Stop replaying what they said or did. Immediately ask yourself, what is the solution here? This interrupts the emotional loop. Feelings are allowed, but decisions must be intelligent. Say to yourself, I can feel upset, but I will act wisely. Emotion without direction becomes anger. Emotion with direction becomes growth. You cannot control people, opinions, the past, or outcomes, but you can control your response, your boundaries, your effort, and your direction. When control returns to you, anger has nowhere to stay. Someone insults you. A problem-focused response replays it all day, imagines arguments, and steals your peace. A solution-focused response asks, what's the best move here? Ignore it if it's irrelevant. Set a boundary if needed. Create distance. Focus on your goals. Improve yourself. Now anger has no place to live. At the highest level, your mindset becomes simple. If I can fix it, I will. If I can't, I accept it and move forward. No drama. No ego. Just clarity. Anger asks, who is wrong? Wisdom asks, what's next? And when you stop fighting reality and start shaping your response, you don't just stop getting angry. You become unshakable. Now let's talk about something most people never learn. You don't have to absorb everything that happens around you. You can observe it and let it pass. Most people absorb other people's moods, words, opinions, and chaos. They let it enter their mind and settle in their body. They let it control their emotions. You were not created to be a sponge. You were created to be a filter. The absorber says, they were rude, now I'm upset. Their mood is bad, now I feel heavy. This post annoyed me, now my day is ruined. The observer says, I noticed that, but I don't need to carry it. They're projecting their pain. This energy doesn't belong to me. Think of your mind like the sky. Thoughts, emotions, and people are clouds. Some are dark, some are heavy, but the sky doesn't hold them forever. They pass. Be the sky. Let the storm pass through without becoming the storm. When someone's words hurt, pause and ask yourself, is this about me or about them? Most of the time it's about them, their wounds, their stress, their triggers. When emotions rise, label them quietly. I notice anger. I notice pain. I notice fear. This creates space between you and the emotion. You are no longer inside it. You are observing it. And when you observe it, it loses its power. The most peaceful people are not cold. They are clear. They have trained their minds to observe without reacting, to see without absorbing, and to stay calm while the world shakes. That is not weakness. That is the highest form of mental strength. Be the observer. Let others carry their chaos. You carry your peace. Now take a deep breath. Because today you didn't just watch a video. You stepped into a new level of yourself. You didn't learn how to control anger. You learned how to outgrow it. You are not here to be a slave to emotions. You are here to master your own mind. Let the world do what it does. Let people say what they say. Let storms rise. You will remain calm. You will remain clear. You will remain in control. Because now you understand the truth. Anger doesn't make you powerful. Control does. Peace does. Wisdom does. From this moment forward, you pause when the fire rises. You breathe instead of breaking. You let go of the past, clean the pain, and ask better questions. You choose boundaries over explosions, solutions over complaints. You stop being the angry version of yourself, and you become the calmest, clearest, strongest version of who you were always meant to be. The version no one can shake. The version no one can control. The version that doesn't fight life but rises above it. And the best part? This version of you was always inside you, waiting for you to choose it. Now you have. And now you are free. If this message changed the way you think, if it gave you peace or power, let your future self know this moment mattered. Stay connected. Grow with us. And share this with someone who needs it. And in the comments, write just one sentence. I choose peace. Because once you make that choice, anger no longer controls you, you control your life.